Okay, I want to just do like a follow-up. I couldn't do this because I only had 10 minutes on the other one. As we see in the background, you see the building? You see how it creates the number 7? There's a reason for that. If we look up here, and we look at the light, you see how it's a hexagon? A hexagon is really a cube. It's a two-dimensional version of a three-dimensional cube. You notice the light that's running through it? And then you see one way. Okay, that's an energy that they're showing you. That's an energy flow. You can understand this, especially if you're a male. Okay, now there's a guy called One of the Ones who's doing some fabulous work, but I'm going to show you something from a different perspective, not to degrade what he's doing, but I want you to understand that there's a huge metaphor going on here. Okay, that's happening on many different levels in many different ways. Okay, because these guys dabble in alchemy, that's where I have to go. I'm not an alchemist, but you have to go there to find out what they're saying. So we know that the 16th trump card, or number 16, represents the tower, which represents illusion, destruction of illusion, the destruction of the illusion of what you believe God to be. You can see that in my other video, the first video. But what's interesting is that the 7th card is called Saiyan. Does that not sound very similar to Zion? Okay? It's a sword. Interior stars. Helios, Gamos, revelation. Completion, and the number 7. Okay? The number 7 is associated with Saturn just as well as the number 9 is in completion. Having associated Hebrew letter with the hexagram, there it is, allows a further mystery of I, which is present in the hexagram being its center and completeness. There's your 9. 6 triangular extremities, that's your 6 points, linked to a central hexagon, there's your cube, make 7 shapes together, each corresponding with the seraphit from Binah, which is Saturn, to Yesod. Binah is the topmost triangle, okay? Basically what they're saying is that's God. Hesad, okay, and then they just go into this other stuff, these other meanings, you look them up. Terafot is a central hexagon, that's the box inside. All right, so you can look that up if you want to, but let's see what else Saiyan or Zion really is. Now, so here we says the Phoenician letter to be named after the sword or the other weapon. The biblical Hebrew Zayin or Zion means sword. The verb lizayin or liaison means to arm. In modern Hebrew, Zayon means penis. Remember what I told you? Okay, the Big Bang Theory. Okay, as it was in the days of Noah, so will it be in the coming. It's a sexual act. Is a vulgar term which generally means to perform a sexual intercourse and is used in a similar fashion to the English word fuck. I ain't writing this stuff, folks. This is what it means. This 7 is associated with Saturn, it's associated with sex, and it's associated with the new man. Okay, it's all right here. You can read it. I'm not making it up. That's why you're seeing that number 7 that the news so conveniently posted. See, it's up to you to decrypt this stuff. They ain't going to do it for you. They'll stick it in your face, but you got to decrypt it. Now I'm going to show you something that's very interesting. In modern Hebrew, the frequency of the uses of Zayin, okay, out of all the letters is 88%. Now, for those of you that understand World War II or those of you that don't, there were some guns that the cannons that the Germans used that the Americans were deathly afraid of, and they were called the 88s. They were massive cannons that the Americans were deathly afraid of. I talked to Let's Get Free Now. I talked to him today. He lives in Berlin. 88. Those 2 letters represent HH. Do you know what the new neo-Nazis, they use the number 88. You know what it means? Heil Hitler. Now let's go back to what one of the ones is saying. That the Vril is this Aryan Nazi supremacy race of people. So here, what I'm telling you is it says, as it was in the days of Noah, so will it be in the coming of man. The coming of man represents a sexual act, which i.e. is the Big Bang Theory. Okay? It represents creation. All right? The new creation is the new man, which is a Naziistic creation of a perfect world without nobody in it but them. It's right there. It's right there in the explanation, and it's right there in the picture with the 7. Okay? The gateway, I'm telling you, people, wake up. Okay? You're going to have to understand that we are so far into this thing that there's no turning back, and you better get yourself straight with the Creator. Because all you have is that. No knife or weapon is going to avail you against these things. Okay? I don't care how badass you think you are. You know, it isn't going to work because it's not working on that level. This is a sexual unity. I don't know how to explain it to you. It's okay. You remember the commercials that I showed you with the axe spray? The axe is a double-headed axe of Phoenicia, but where it shows the man and the woman running together and they're all kissing and all this chaos is going on around them. It's because they're a creation through sex is being created during this chaos. When a man has sex with a woman, it's a violent act by terminology because there's banging and hair pulling and everything else. Sex and violence in the movie, same part of your brain. The reptilian, the base of the skull. It stimulates the same part of the brain. It's a sexual act in the creation of a new world. Go look up the Gateway High School. What is the name of their team? The Olympiads. Ley lines. Do you know what they are? They're like a circuit board. And what they do is they gather people together, like the Olympics and churches and Stonehenge. And what they do is they're points of energy that are connected thousands of miles apart. The Olympics, a lot of people there. Big deals going on. Okay? Gateway High School Olympiads. Think. Be your own detective. Put it together. Do you think this shit is by accident? I told you, from 1966, I remember this cartoon. Look at, these are the Beatles. Look at the little blonde-headed, black and white, Masonic creature that's putting them in a crystal. You see they're in a crystal? Okay? And then they get transported to Earth. Now watch. Okay, then they get to Earth, and you look, you see here? They're London. Where did the Beatles come out of? They came out of London. Okay, but look at the geometrical figure. Okay, it looks like it's 8-sided, but it's really just a cube that you're seeing both sides while you're looking head on instead of not being able to see both sides. It represents 10 dimensions of the Kabbalah. Okay, so then we look at AOL. Now see, they're using the exact same figure. Okay, why are they using that? And why do they cut in this character, Russell Brand, which I can't stand that dude, because he is one of those things. That's why that's set up like that. Okay, everything about that guy is chaotic. Again, you got to kind of be your own detective and look at this stuff. I know you're not going to remember shit back to 1966. I'm just a weirdo that way. They've been telling you all along. It's just that you have to be able to look at it and see it. These are containment centers. They're in the center of the earth. That's what the Chilean miners busted out of Tartarus. Hitler tried to get down there. They all know. They all know. I don't know what else to tell you. You know, if somebody would have told me what I'm telling you 20 years ago, I would have said you're a fucking nutbag. It's not. It's true. It's true. It absolutely is. Doesn't change my idea about Jesus Christ, not one bit. As a matter of fact, it strengthens it because it's the only thing I got left. See, there's a problem when you start really seeing what's going on because that tends to drag you down. It really makes you feel shitty. But you got to turn that shit, well, in other words, you got to turn that frown upside down because you know what they're doing. So they give you a moniker of hope. Go look at the facts. They're all there. And you're going to see more and more of this nuttiness going on. Because they're trying to cover it up because they're no more in control of this than you are. But they know what the actual reality behind it is. And so they're using stories in the news to cover it up, to persuade you into thinking a certain way.